Hello, this is Joe83, and this is episode 14 of the My Team Lotus career mode, and we're here in Belgium, the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, which is one of my favourites on the calendar. I've actually been here just the once in 2018, but yeah, straight into practice, and straight away losing the back end, which is a good start, but 50 points in the track acclimatization, and new engine. Obviously, we put a new engine in for Hungary, and we're keeping that engine for Belgium and probably for Italy as well, because it's going to be completely fresh for these two power circuits, which are very high speed. And yeah, through practice, fuel economy, I tried to keep lifting off because the deltas are really easy actually through all the practice, but unfortunately I didn't quite lift off enough to get the purple score on the fuel. But yeah, 30 points will do me fine. And onto ERS, once again, very easy delta, although through the bus stop chicane, losing the back end a little bit, and that was a bit of a theme actually. The back end of this car, all season really, we saw back in Canada, as springs to mind, just how difficult this car is to get traction out of the corners. And yeah, for some reason, since we've done some upgrades, it seems to be getting worse, if anything. But we actually managed to do the quality pace test as well, 30 points there. And especially out of this corner, the last corner, the bus stop chicane and La Source hairpin for turn 1. The back end was very bad all weekend, really. So, yeah, the practice programs, they were very easy. They gave me a chance to spend some resource points. I pretty much spread them out pretty evenly, going for a few things that had failed earlier in the season, because obviously they're less expensive when you have to do them for the second time. So I went for something on the durability, a new upgrade on the aero, and one of the failed upgrades on the aero as well in the end. So, yeah, so we spent about 1,500 points there. Pretty expensive stuff, but it will help the car out massively when they all get on the circuit, on the car, sorry. And yeah, straight into qualifying Q1. And as I said, looking to try and get out of Q1, although the car isn't really suited to this kind of circuit. We saw circuits like France and Austria, it was okay, but yeah, very, very high speed circuits, not so much, because the powertrain isn't all there. And first lap in Q1, it left me 4/10 off Magnussen, which isn't actually that bad around a long lap. But yeah, this is my last lap in quali. Q1 soft tyres, I'm down in 20th at the minute. My teammate De Vries is 17th, so I'm once again getting a bit shown up. Locked up into La Source. I've got a good traction though, so we're about half a tenth up now through Eau Rouge, being really, really committed. Obviously, it's quite easy to get it flat out on the later games in Codemasters run, but yeah, it used to be very much more of a challenge, but this time very easily flat and opening DRS. But later on in the lap through Pouan now, and this is such a high committed corner. You've got to try and keep as much speed as possible. We took quite a lot of speed through there, but not quite as much as I could have done. But we are now 2/10 up, coming into first and second Stavolo, trying to get over the curbs there because the grip on the inside is actually quite high. Not so much on the second bit, running a bit wide there, losing some time, but down towards Curve Pro Frere and through the second sector split, and we're half a second down on my teammate De Vries again. So it looks like we're going to not get out of Q1 for, I think, the 4th or 5th race in a row, which is a bit of a disappointment, but going down towards Blanchimont, past where I sat back in 2018 and down towards the chicane, it's going to be braking just before the 100 metre board, trying to take as much speed as possible, trying to get a good exit as well, because I think the exit wasn't brilliant the first time. Second gear, hitting that first curb nicely and the second curb, and try to keep a nice clean traction. We've just about done that. 3/10 improvement though, and it's only going to be 20th on the grid, which I was a bit disappointed by, because Spa is a circuit that I do really like, and I think I've got a bit of pace around in the actual online cars and the time trial, but unfortunately this My Team car really isn't suited to it. And yeah, 4/10 off De Vries isn't really that bad, considering, yeah, I'm not feeling too comfortable. I don't think the setup was very good this race either. Not that I'm making excuses or anything, but yeah, 19th on the grid actually, because someone had a grid penalty for engine changes, and it's soft medium strategy, and we're going to put a lot of fuel in the car as well, as it's very high speed, as I've been saying, so we want to run rich as much as possible, burning that new engine as much as we can. And yeah, going on to the 5 red lights then for the Belgian Grand Prix from here in Spa. 19th on the grid. It's quite a short hold, but we're away now, and rich in overtake mode, obviously getting a good start compared to Grosjean alongside, trying to get straight ahead of both Haas cars and my teammate De Vries. Going to send one down the inside, but not quite as aggressively as sometimes this season. Giovinazzi, by the way, went up to about 6th place there, straight into turn 1, but we're side by side with De Vries on exit. He's just about had the wider line, which allowed him to stay ahead in the assisted car, and now Magnussen's also got ahead into the run down towards Eau Rouge and Radeon, and a little bit of oversteer there. That would not have been good to bin it straight away, but down towards Lecom in overtake mode and the rich mix, although pretty much everyone will be doing the same at this point, and it's absolute melee of cars up ahead. We're going to try and take advantage of anything that goes wrong. Magnussen braking a bit early there, going to send one down the inside of Lecom, and round the outside now of the second part. We should just about have it, but a massive slide, almost losing the back end there, but still alongside Magnussen and taking the inside line down towards No Name, I think this is. I've forgotten some of the corner names. But yeah, down towards this next corner. Maybe thinking about moving De Vries, but that move of Magnussen was very good to say. We were complete opposite lock at one point in that corner. And now this is No Name actually, and running a bit wide, but no chance to make a move on De Vries until later in the lap actually, through Curve Pro Frere and down towards Blanchimont now. Got a very good run, and De Vries has not got the straight on speed, and we're going to go down the inside of Blanchimont just about ahead before we get to the proper part of the corner. And then maybe thinking about a move of Stroll into the bus stop as well, and down towards the next corner, braking nice and late, and Stroll's going to brake early down the inside of the Canadian in its racing point and running outside of the second part, forcing over those curbs and taking that position up into 15th place. So yeah, that's 4 places on that one. Also De Vries actually getting past Stroll temporarily at least, down towards La Source, but braking very late, almost hitting the back of Ocon there. That was incredibly close, and trying to get a good exit. Maybe thinking about a move on the Frenchman down towards the top of the hill. But no, not on this occasion. It actually took me a very long time to even think about anything. But now I was in a bit of a train behind the two McLarens and Ocon. But this time Sainz is going to pit on the softs, and quite a few cars are in the pits as well. Meanwhile, there's a yellow flag out. I'm not sure who that's for, but it looks like it might be my teammate. My teammates this season, both Delatraz and De Vries, have had, like, well, this is the first time for De Vries, but Delatraz in particular had really bad reliability. And once again, the sister car struggling a lot, and that's going to bring out a safety car because he's retired with mechanical issues. And to say I've had absolutely nothing go wrong for my car this season, it's quite surprising that my teammate is having such bad luck. But yeah, we're going to take advantage of that safety car, peel into the pits, go onto the mediums because my pit window anyway was lap 8. And obviously the mediums, the soft medium was the preferred strategy. You can see the window was open there on the following lap. We're going to pit 1 lap early, go onto mediums. Obviously the safety car saves 2 laps of tyre wear as well. The Alphas are actually stacking there, so we should be able to get past one of them. But into the box, can we get a fast pit stop? Not really, and it's pretty slow compared to our recent standards, but it's a 3.2. We're back out where we went in, but Giovinazzi actually is behind me, so we've gained 1 net place over him. And there's still a few cars stayed out, so we're 17th a minute, but it won't be a net position once all the cars pit. But yeah, we're back behind Sainz, Norris and Ocon, the little train that I was behind before the stops, so we've got to try and make a bit of progress. This time they're all on hards and I'm on medium, so it should give me a bit of advantage, but keeping it in 3rd gear has not helped on the exit there, and that's going to give Giovinazzi a chance down towards turn 1 of La Source, breaking 100 meter board, trying to get a nice clean run into it, and the exit's got to be very good, but obviously on cold tyres it might not be. And through into 4th and 5th gear, massive slap of oversteer there, and try to keep it in a straight line. That was incredibly difficult. I mean, just about held it. I think I might have given Giovinazzi a bit of damage coming back onto the track like that, but I wasn't really in control of my car, so nothing I could have really done in that situation. Down towards Lecom now, obviously no DRS as we just come off the safety car, but we've lost so much time to Ocon already, and Giovinazzi is going to try in his Alfa Romeo to go down the inside, but we've just about got the straight on speed advantage and braking nice and late there. Should be able to hold it, and yes, just about. And hopefully we can catch up to the back of the little train of the two McLarens and Ocon once again. And yeah, by the end of the lap actually they're getting stuck behind Latifi, just like in Hungary. Latifi, after a safety car restart, being an absolute buffer in the in this train, and Loris is going to go down the inside of Blanchimont as I did on my teammate earlier, but Norris making the move work this time. Ocon's also trying to figure something out. I'm just buzzing around trying to find anywhere to go really, and down the inside of Ocon maybe into the final chicane, hitting the back of Latifi, but no damage done luckily. He's going to peel into the pits right after the safety car went in for some reason, and it's the same lap as Russell, you can see on the right there. So Williams not really naming their strategy at all, but a few cars in the pits. We managed to make the move on Ocon, and we're up into 13th place now, and there might be still a few cars in the yet to pit. So it's looking maybe potential points, but this McLaren's going to be very hard to keep up with on race pace, so hopefully we can stay with them, but we've got to try and get back at DRS first things first, which we're not at the minute. But through Eau Rouge and Radion, Ocon has got a mad run compared to me, and in that Renault, which has got very good straight on speed, he's going to have a chance down towards the next corner, but I'm using overtake mode, burning up that battery that's been saving through the safety car period, and down towards Lecom. He's going down the inside, try and brake nice and late, forcing over those inside curves and take the better line running outside, and that's my position back into 13th place, and through the next few corners, trying to stay ahead of Ocon as we do. And Bottas actually now is come out of the pits. He was one who didn't pit under the safety car, but he's just stuck behind Norris and Perez, which has allowed me to catch up to these two. Up into 12th. I think one of the Red Bulls also pit a bit later, so points are just there with Norris and Perez fighting for 10th at the minute, fighting for 9th actually, but Bottas obviously will get both of them eventually and pull off into the distance. But Perez really going slow on the exit of turn 1, and there's going to be a chance on Bottas maybe down towards Eau Rouge, but thought better of it. I don't really want to go side by side with a Mercedes this late into the race and throw it all away, but down towards the Lacombe with DRS wide open, Ocon's still right behind me, so he's going to DRS it up. But Perez and Bottas holding each other up a bit. I'm going to try to the outside. I maybe thought about a Hakkinen move, but not quite. And Perez on the inside line, trying to keep it around the outside of Bottas. 4th gear, trying to swing around like we did on Ocon earlier in the race. Is it going to come off side by side, wheel banging a bit with the fin in his Mercedes? But actually, it's going to unsettle the car through the next corner. Ocon's going to have a chance now down towards the long right-hander. down to third gear, trying to keep this outside line with Ocon. It's in very close racing, and through the next corner is a left-hander, so he should have the advantage, but bang it wheel-to-wheel contact again, and just about keeping 12th place with no damage, and my tyres are doing absolutely fine. But yeah, as the race wore on, we might be in a bit of trouble compared to the hard runners as the tyre wear comes into it, but Ocon's going to try once again down the inside, but fairly straightforward to defend again, as we have done pretty much the whole race, and keep that 12th place for now, ahead of the Frenchman in his French car. But now down 1 lap later, and Ocon once again has a DRS. I've dropped out of DRS range off Perez. That's going to hamper my progress down this straight, and Ocon is going to be well ahead this time. Can we try and fight it back once again around the outside, and the AI just really not confident enough to run you out of road, and that's going to allow me to get back ahead. But once again a slide on the mid corner there, as we saw on lap 1. But down towards the next corner, we're still ahead of Ocon, luckily. And then coming on to the last lap of the race now, and Charles Leclerc has pit very late into this race, and he's right behind Ocon and myself now. So Ocon trying to maybe look for a space around the outside of the final corner, but I've just about gone defensive enough. But a big slide mid-corner again. This car really struggling on its tyres, and the back end just was all over the place. Maybe it's a setup thing, I don't know. But yeah, I need to get better, need to get it hooked in a bit more. But it looks like points aren't really going to happen. Because we're 4.5 seconds now off Perez with 1 lap to go, so unless we get some mental last lap, then it won't happen, to be honest. But these things happen. Unfortunately, we're going to get races like this, but Leclerc actually in his Ferrari has much better straight on speed than Ocon, so this time once again I don't have DRS or any ERS to use. That's going to give Leclerc a big chance, but actually through the exit we were actually fine, so maybe not. But through P1 now, a massive slide once again. That was my fault completely, because I hit that inside curb, and that's going to give Leclerc a chance now with his much grippier tyres and a faster car in general. And he's going to try run the outside of Stavolo, but not quite on this occasion, and that's actually allowed Ocon up the inside, so that's going to give me a bit of breathing room, because Ocon obviously is easier to defend against than Leclerc, because he's got a slower car and a more similar tyre wear as well. So yeah, lucky for me that them two are battling, and we've also got the other racing point of Stroll right behind as well. So yeah, should be a little bit of a train here. The pace wasn't really there for 12th, but I've managed to luck into it a bit with the safety car and just good defensive driving. But obviously no points for 12th, so who really cares anyway? But coming up to the final chicane, very simple. They're nowhere near me really, and through the final corner, we come across the line for 12th place in this race. A bit of a shame. The points run has come to an end. First time in a few races we haven't scored points, but these things happen. What can you do? And yeah, the pace really wasn't there today, so we move on to better things, and Monza hopefully will be a bit of a better race for us. But Hamilton wins the race. A load of cars got penalties. I don't really know. It must have been something to do with the safety car, I think. But unfortunately, Ricciardo finished third, first things first, which is pretty mental. And also Kvyat got 7th place. So the AlphaTauris, we saw Gasly's had a lot of good races in a row, and now Kvyat also scoring the big points. So annoyingly, we're now back behind them in the constructors. We're back down to 9th, and I'm 11th in the drivers actually, as Ricciardo's absolutely bolted up the order with that podium. But on the constructors, we're on 42 points and we're 9th. I don't know how that's possible. You can see we're really close to the rest of the grid, but it's so closely packed, and we're like 38 points ahead of Haas, but we're only 1 place ahead of them, which seems a bit mental to me. But yeah, that's how it goes. And unfortunately, this is motor racing. So yeah, coming on to the end screens and everything. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JM83, and I will see you next time.